Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And I know that last part ended a bit abruptly. I had to stop because there are certain things going on in the real world that take precedence. And then I tried to get back on the game and I played a little bit, which you won't see the footage, but it was. I got like 15-20 minutes further and then I went, you know what, Sally, I'm just kind of done with this game. I did talk to James, the guy who requested this, and he was cool with it. He's like, yeah, it's just not your kind of game. I'm like, exactly. Now, I give up on the game. I quit. I pretty much quit the game. I guess maybe I'll title this, Why Did I Quit Ocarina of Time? Number one, of course I do suck at the game. I can clearly say that, and people can clearly see that. Like, the DSP of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I usually suck at games, but that in particular, I mean, it took me 2 hours, what would take people probably 10, 15 minutes at most in the first part of it. Now, before I start, Zelda games, my history with them, I never played the first one. The second one I played for a little bit when I was a kid from time to time and could never really get that much into it. And I played A Link to the Past for Super Nintendo, which I rather liked. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun, at least from what I remember. But I played that back in the day on the Super Nintendo. Now, I had never played a 3D Zelda game. I never owned a Nintendo 64. I am very much a noob when it comes to Nintendo 64 controls and things of that nature. And I'm a guy that, yes, I grew up with Nintendo, Super Nintendo, but then for the remaining years, I was very much a PlayStation guy. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I'm more used to those controls, that type of controller. And granted, if it was a game that I was invested in any way, shape, or form, I mean, yeah, there are games that I sucked at, I got mad at, but I still finished them. Super Mario Sunshine being one of them. And I even said at the end that, yeah, I was getting mad at this, but now that I know what to do, I think if I played it a second time, I would enjoy it a bit more. Same with Metro Prime. Like, I was I really liked the first bit of the game, and I'm like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, but again, I don't love the game, but then I'm like, you know what? The more I play this, there are parts of it I do like. There's parts I don't, but I didn't quit it. I didn't feel like I wanted to quit or anything. Sometimes I would say that, but then it's like, there's some parts that were fun, and there's some guns that were fun, and there's some weapons that were fun, and I rage and people hopefully laugh because of my suckitude, which is no problem because yeah, it's true. This is the first in a long time where I truly was not having fun with anything of the game. Super Mario Sunshine, hey, I like the Mario games. The more I used the hose thing and the hose that would hover, okay, the more I'm getting into it. There were some levels I enjoyed, saving the flowers, things of those nature. Again, Metro Prime, some of the weapons I was using and some of the other stuff, okay. The save points. But I played this for, technically there were 10 parts, but the first part was about 2 hours, so at least 11 hours I played this game. I looked up I look up on my phone and I see how a person who knows what they're doing is like a 10-hour playthrough. They're at hour 3, where I'm at hour 11. So if it took me 11 hours to get to where they are 3 hours, you could do the math. And this is just not my kind of game at all. It's kind of RPG in a way, and I'm not a fan of RPG at all. It's one of my least favorite types of games, to be honest. There are exceptions, of course, but like I love survival horror and action games and beat 'em up games, and I enjoy first person shooter games and platformers like Crash Bandicoot and Mario. This, again, was just not it at all. The It's not fair to make fun of the graphics because they came out at that time period. And hell, there are many PlayStation 1 games I enjoy, like Silent Hill and other stuff that are older graphics, but I still quite enjoy. But the story, I was not intrigued by the story at all. Here's Ganon with his big ass nose that he could screw himself with, literally. There's Zelda, who you beat for a little bit, but then she's kidnapped. And then you go through all these trials to get these three things, and then you get your ass kicked because you're puny little Keebler elf. And then you get frozen in time, and then there's these 5 temples you gotta go to. And I've heard all the horror stories of the water temple, and I'm like, no, nope, nope. And as I'm playing the game, I'm like, again, the story was not intriguing to me. I'm not the biggest fantasy guy anyway. There's some like Shadow of the Colossus I enjoyed, among other games. I've enjoyed a couple Castlevania games back in the day, like Super Castlevania for Super Nintendo. But like I said, the story didn't do anything for me. Link isn't really much of a character. Like, he'll talk to people, but you never read what he says. It's always the responses people give him. The people I meet were not really that interesting. There was really... I get it, it's an older game, but at the same time, this is the era where PlayStation 1 had, Metal Gear Solid, among other games. And even the goofy charm of a Resident Evil 1 and 2. Even Silent Hill 1 had voice acting, and hell, I liked Harry in that more than Link in this, because at least that was a character. Here I didn't feel anything for Link. The adventure I was playing, I didn't find it fun, going around the village wondering where to go, what to do. And the things that you do so far were not fun at all. Open up chests to find rupees, cutting up bushes, find this tree, you go in, you do some stuff, but the tree's gonna die anyway. Grabbing chickens that you float down with, and then throughout the game it's like, oh, I gotta wait for nightfall, so I gotta wait for nighttime, and I'm waiting, which I think was such a stupid mechanic, in order to pass by these guards, because each time I try to pass them during the day, they would catch me. And see if I can only do it at nighttime, but then I gotta go the specific path in order to, which is trial and error, unless I look it up on my phone to see what's going on and where to go. Otherwise, it's trial and error. And by the time you get thrown out, it feels like you only have a little bit of time before it's daytime again. And only certain things are at night, and only certain things are in the day. And I hate that mechanic. Just waste more time. Gotta wait. Sneaking past the guards were not fun. There's the level where you're inside the beast and you gotta carry this bratty, bitchy princess who keeps telling you how much you suck. You suck. How'd you leave me? You're useless. That I wanted to punch in the face. Once in a while, there was a boss level I did not mind. Granted, it didn't help that the controller I had was drifting, and even though I tried the XY start you hold and let go that some people had on YouTube, it still didn't fix the drifting issues. So that didn't help. I could barely control the thing. But even the first couple parts that it didn't drift, it was still annoying to control Link. Again, I'm not big on the Nintendo 64 controller, and it felt harder to like. There's other Nintendo Super Mario Galaxy. I played that later on, and I played that, and that's many years, of course, in the Nintendo's life cycle compared to this game, and it was still fun to control that character. This, not so much. And then like you can't jump, so this is a game where there are times there are platforming, but you're not able to jump, and when you're not able to jump on your own accord, it just makes it feel like you have less control of the character. Instead, they put the stupid auto jump in, which I think auto jump sucks, to be honest. Then you're going across Hyrule. So the controls I don't care for. I hate the camera. There are times that the camera, I'm trying to go over here, and the camera's over here, and then I gotta try to maneuver myself. And I just thought the camera was really annoying. The fighting, the lock-on would work whatever it wanted to. Like the big boss when you're in that I forget the belly of the beast, the water beast, and you're with that bratty princess, and you gotta fight this creature that has these like jellyfish on its body. I'm like turning towards it and hitting the lock on, but he doesn't want to lock on. And I'm trying to lock on to use the boomerang, and he won't lock on. I gotta do it like 4, 5, 6 times before he finally does it. It's like the lock on felt like it worked whatever they wanted to. So I have a story that's not intriguing to me, a lead character that was pretty boring, lackluster, platforming that again you're not even allowed to jump. Gimmicks like you gotta literally carry this princess around everywhere you go. I don't know how they thought that was fun, to have to literally carry this princess because she's being too bratty and throw her up high and to this ledge and carry her around and then put her down to fight enemies and then pick her back up. And the environments I saw so far. I got as far as getting the Master Sword, and then it's like, wait, I gotta chase a ghost. And I'm like, what? I gotta chase this ghost to get this hood shot, and then I gotta go over to this thing here, and then I'm looking at later on, oh, I gotta bomb this one guy to get this armor tunic in order to be able to go into the fire temple so I don't burn up in 30 seconds. I'm like, how the hell would I know to bomb this one spinning guy? Where in the game would it tell you to do that? Which is another thing, one of the worst things for me in this game is how cryptic it was. Now maybe because I never played the first Zelda game, which for what I understand is pretty cryptic. Link to the Past just didn't feel as cryptic. Maybe it is, and Back to the Day, but it seemed like that gave you more clues, more hints, more of a fair play to figure stuff out on your own. Maybe there were a couple moments that but like the way that begins, Link to the Past. You wake up in your house, you see someone you know leave, you go out, it's raining. Most places are blocked off, so really the only way to go is into the castle. But you can't go there because they're blocked. So you look around and you can't do much. Oh, I could pick up these bushes. Let me just pick them all up, see what I can find. Oh, rupees. Oh, wow, I found a secret place. I go in. Oh, wow, now I got my sword, and I got this and that. And it felt easier to maneuver. It was definitely easier to control. And just felt more fun. More colorful. I liked the look of the game more. And yeah, granted, you say, well, what about the character of Link in that? I give more leniency because it's Super Nintendo and the limitations. And just like the gimmicks, like the stick that you have to light the fires, there'd be times I would light the fire, I would get to a post, I would literally go back and forth, and it would not light the damn thing. And instead, the fire would go out and I would lose the stick. But like, you would see me play, and I'm right by the thing, and it didn't light like it was supposed to. Again, so many cryptic moments. I'm sitting there going, how are you supposed to know this without looking it up? Like, okay, there's these plants in the Dongo, that area, and oh, I didn't know that rolling over them would make it so that they could blow up. So blow up this one section to go into the Lost Woods, so then you can listen to this girl and follow her in order to learn this song. Then you go back and you play that guy that song. Did you think it'd be Zelda's Lullaby that you heard earlier? But no, it's actually the other song you need to play. And this one big guy who's rolling around, oh, I bombed him, but nothing happened. Oh, I have to bomb him in this one specific place where there's an enclave. I'm sorry. Didn't know that. How would I know that? It felt like this was a game that you needed. Okay, maybe people didn't. It felt like we need to sell the strategy guide. So make a game that's cryptic, and then people buy the strategy guide. I don't want to play a game where every 10 minutes I'm looking up on the phone to figure out what is going on and what I need to do next. Unless you try every single thing. And the environments I didn't think were that interesting. Hyrule Fields is such a plain, bare environment. We see like nothing. A couple enemies, then a couple enemies at night, but then there's like a river way over here. But there's like nothing in this big field, nothing. And you move so slow. Lisa, I think later you do get a horse, but you move. It's a while before you get that, and you move so damn slow. And then, when you quit the game, and you want to return back another day, let's say I go to an area, and it loads into that area. Oh, and I can save. Okay, cool. And whether you leave the menu, you could save, or if you die, you save. So you think, okay, I'm going back. You're going to be back in this area. No, it takes you all the way back to the very first place you were at, which is this village in your hut. You wake up, you gotta go all the way back to where you were, so all the way back to the Death Mountain, or all the way back over here, and it'll take you 5-10 minutes just to get the hell all the way over there. You gotta find your way out of the village, you gotta go all the way over there. And whether it be like there's certain spots that seem like you could climb up, but then there's certain spots that are not that much higher, but you can't climb up because you can't jump. You can't jump on your own accord. There's this fairy that's with you all the time. Look, listen. And most of the time, she doesn't tell you jack squat what to do. Unless it's the most obvious thing that you already know. Like, the one thing you do know is the thing she tells you, not the 10 other things you don't know and need to know. And even the temples, like the temples, at least I saw so far, spiders that you can't fight until you get behind. Yeah, make it so they turn around and then you fight them. When you go into the belly of the beast, the first enemies you encounter, you go, okay, I'm supposed to fight them. I get electrocuted. I'm like, wait a minute. Almost every bad guy, except the bubbles, and like the first ones you meet, you block with the shield, it bounces back. You fight the bubbles, because that's great, to fight bubbles. But then you see all these creatures, you can't fight them, you get electrocuted, you're wondering, what the hell am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fight them? Oh, you have to wait till later on, till you get the boomerang, Then you can fight them. You know, it would be nice to get the boomerang before I get to this area. So that, oh, I got electrocuted. Let me try this. All right. Okay, this works. And like, there's the one boss, the mini boss, where you gotta go around this thing chasing after it while the middle has these spikes on the edge. And I'm trying to chase after the thing, and it's faster than me. It's faster than me. I can't get. You're supposed to hit it from behind. I can't reach it. The camera is focused so in, I can't see where it's going. I can't see like how close, how far I am, and I can't. He's going so slow, I can't catch up to him. A way of doing that well is Metal Gear Solid. When you fight Revolver Ocelot, they have the camera far enough away in a position where you could chase Revolver Ocelot, and there'll be times he'll stop to reload and you could catch up to him and shoot, and then you could maneuver. Oh, he's going this way, let me go this way. Oh, let me go this way. Better usage of camera, of how much you can see. I had to resort to just making sure I had enough hearts. Okay, you hit me, you turn around, I hit you in the back. Hit me, hit you. I had to resort to taking damage on purpose to do it. I'm sure there are many ways to do it, but that's what I had to do. Without having to look it up yet again. And I did so many parts of this game, I'm just sitting there going, this is just not fun at all. At all. And then when you're adult Link, as soon as I'm getting used to the boomerang and enjoying it, it takes it away from me. Now I'm sure you get that back, but I'm like, I see it in my inventory, but you're not letting me use it. Why? You can't use a boomerang when you're an adult, even though it's right there in my inventory? I didn't lose it. It's right fucking there. But hey, what do I know? And then, like, when you die and you go back, they don't even give you all your hearts. You start with 3, so you have to search around to literally find stuff to bring your health back up the stuff in order to continue your journey. And again, just the cryptic upon cryptic stuff. That probably sold a lot of strategy guides for this. And I just got really bored playing it. I just got really bored. I'm talking to people, their conversations were not interesting. I'm trying to get into the story, but the story is really boring. It feels like a story you've seen many times, and just nothing about it seemed impactful. The characters seem boring and blasé. The character designs of Ganon look more goofy than scary, with his big ass like Triple H nose. I'm like, I'm supposed to be scared by this guy, like, or he's supposed to be, oh, he's a big villain, Ganon, which I remember Ganon in the older games. But I'm like, that's what he looks like. He looks like a doofus. So again, like the auto jumping and the cryptic upon cryptic stuff for what to do next, and trying to figure out where to go, what you're supposed to do next. The 50 other things, like you gotta do this and kill these certain bugs to get these tokens. If you get enough tokens, you go to this village and then you get a bigger wallet, so you get more money to go do all this other stuff. That's the thing. It's like very much an RPG type of stuff, and I have to really be into the story, or really into the setting, or really into the experience to really go out of my way to do that stuff. Like Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, you only need a certain amount of stars, but I was going to these galaxies only had one star, and I'm like, oh, I'll go see it to see how it is, because I was having fun with the game. I was having a lot of fun with it. So I'm willing to go do these extra things and see what these extra worlds are like. But this, the total opposite. Honestly, one of the least fun experiences I've had playing the game. Now, am I going to say it's a bad game? It's a game I don't like. I'll put it that way. A lot of people love it. They call it 10 out of 10. One of the best games of all time. It's not for me. I'm not good at it. I know that, but it's not for me. And again, when I get 11 hours in, and it hasn't made a dent of enjoyment to me, other than a couple times I threw a boomerang, because I didn't mind the weapon, and plus again the controller drifting, that didn't help matters. But I think even without that, I still would not have. Maybe I wouldn't have been as angry, but like I said, there was really nothing for me that I was finding to the point of, oh, I get why people like it. I don't. But I really sit there and go, why do people like this game? I don't see why this game's beloved. That was my frame of mind during it. And I'm sitting there going, well, if that's what it is, then it's just how bad I was playing. It was going to take me another 20 hours at least to beat this. And not only do I not have the time for that, but I don't have the energy, I don't have the patience, I don't have the mental fortitude to do that. So, sorry. That's just me. So with that said, yeah, I quit. That's why I gave up Ocarina of Time. Not a fan of it at all. I thought it was infuriating, confusing. I didn't really like the combat. I don't like that the one shield is destroyed. I didn't even know until a while, like, oh, the fire destroyed that shield. Later on, okay, this is a wooden shield. But then the other shield I have, you can't put it up. You duck. Okay, it ducks in case things land on you. Now maybe there were other shields. I'm sure there are other shields, but I didn't find them at that point in time. And yeah. And I get the plot. Oh, I gotta find the 5 sages and these 5 temples, and I'm like, I don't care. I didn't really see much of a story when he was a kid, let alone to care what has happened when he's an adult. But obviously, there's a lot more because, again, I got 11 hours in. This one guy got 3 out of 9, 3 out of 10 hours in. So, if you just say I'm missing out, I'm fine with that. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Thanks once again, James. I apologize, but thank you still for the generosity. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.